In the headlines, PDP National Working Committee reverses suspension of Fayose, Sherma, Ayim others. Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong says any support from interim government is against the principle of democracy, says advocates are daydreaming. Chief of Defense Staff orders total elimination of Boko Haram ISWAP terrorizing Northeast region. And on the foreign scene, death toll from tropical cyclone Freddy rises to 1,200 as hopes of finding survivors fade. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in full. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has reversed the suspension of Ibrahim Sherma, Ayo Fayose, Pius Anyim, Dennis Itiavia, and Aslam Aliyu. The NWC also reversed the referral of the Governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, to the National Disciplinary Committee. The PDP's NWC announced this in a statement by its spokesperson, Debo Ologunaba, on Thursday. The statement said the action of the National Working Committee of the party was taken after its meeting on Thursday, where members discussed recent developments in the party. The NWC, according to the statement, recognized the imperativeness of a total reconciliation among party leaders and critical stakeholders for a more cohesive party in the overall interest of members and Nigerians in general. It said the decision is without prejudice to the powers of the NWC to take necessary disciplinary action against any member of the party at any time, pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution of the PDP as amended in 2017. The party charged all leaders, stakeholders, and members across the country to be guided by the provisions of the PDP Constitution, as well as the new spirit and necessity of reconciliation, unity, and harmony in the party. Similarly, the Benue State Working Committee of the PDP has suspended the Kashi Philip-led Igorov Ward executives in Boko local government area of the state over the crisis that led to the suspension of the party's former national chairman, Iyorchia Ayu. The acting chairman of the PDP in Benue State, Isaac Mfor, at a press briefing in Makudi on Thursday, said the Igorov Ward executive is suspended for 1 month to allow for peace to be restored. He also said the State Working Committee will henceforth take charge of the political affairs of the party in Igorov Ward, where Ayu hails from.
State Working Committee deliberated on and reviewed the recent activities and matters of the administration of the affairs of the party in Igorov Council Ward, which have raised and aggravated tensions within the party in the area with possible threats of violence and breakdown of law and order. It is therefore the resolution of the State Working Committee that, pursuant to the powers conferred on it by Section 59, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the People's Democratic Party, as amended in 2017, and thus order as follows. 1. That the Executive Committee of the PDP in Igorov Council Ward is hereby suspended for a period of 1 month, pending necessary action which shall be taken to restore sanity, harmony, law and order in the party in that.
A few weeks after losing in the 2023 general elections, a fresh leadership crisis has engulfed the Bauchi State chapter of the opposition All Progressives Congress, with members calling on the state chairman, Babayo Misau, to resign from his position or be removed. The development was contained in an open letter addressed to the President-elect, VP-elect, and the national leadership of the APC by the state APC stakeholders. Adamu Imam completes the report.
At a media briefing, the group said the aim is to highlight some worrisome development in the party in the state, with the intention of drawing the attention of APC leadership at the top to do the needful to restore confidence and trust in the party.
What we are trying to do is trying to build our house together to make sure that we get the right and purposeful leadership that will lead the party. But the present leadership clearly shows his level of incompetence. He cannot perform. And you rightly say, you are not a member of the party, but you said he was visibly absent in all the APC activities in Bauchi State.
Reading the letter on behalf of the group, Zubairu stated that it was no longer news that they collectively resolved to reject the outcome of governorship election results in its entirety and advised the party chairman to step down due to anti-party activities.
As I said, activities that have been leveled against him, including financial recklessness, which is already in the public domain. Worse again, he decided to openly display his ballot paper without voting the gubernatorial candidate of his party. We say that, to say at least this is the height of betrayal of trust.
The group also prayed that those left the party at its trying time should not be given listening ears without consulting critical stakeholders. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Still in politics, Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong says those advocating an interim government after the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari are daydreaming. The governor made the comment after a meeting with the president on Thursday at State House in Abuja. While briefing State House correspondents, Governor Lalong said the support of interim government would be working against the principle of democracy, which the president has vowed to uphold. He expressed confidence that the president-elect Bola Tinubu would meet the expectations of Nigerians and hit the ground running immediately after his inauguration on May 29, 2023. Referencing Tinubu's service in Lagos, Lalong said the president-elect would surpass expectations as the party works towards realizing its campaign promises.
Not under the administration of President Buhari, who has been saying it every time, that I believe in democracy. I believe that after my tenure, I want to go and rest. He said it today, that I'm going back to Daura. And I told him that, yes, some of us will still disturb you in Daura. So this man has worked very well for democracy. He has initiated, laid down the foundation. We worked, we elected a president, and some people will still have a dream to even say they will scuttle this democracy. Many people will fight against it. So those who are still talking about it, I will say they are just dreaming. They are just doing daydreaming. Because those of us who work for this mandate believe that by the grace of God, President Buhari is going to bring a successor. And that successor is already Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Political commentators have applauded the ongoing democratic transition in the country ahead of May 29 handover date, just as they warned against subversive moves to truncate the existing democracy. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the political experts also underscored the imperative of collective efforts to guarantee the nation's political stability in the face of growing post-election tension in the country.
Preparation for the May 29 handover ceremony to the newly elected governments at the national and subnational level is ongoing, with transition committees being set up to ensure a seamless exercise. Notwithstanding the litigations arising from the just concluded elections and concerns over attempt by certain undemocratic elements to undermine a peaceful transition.
One should expect that the same party is changing hands, so we do not expect serious challenges. Of course, there is no tradition as to the handing over in Nigeria.
I want to commend President Muhammadu Buhari for even inaugurating the Transition Committee before the elections.
Expectations are also high on incoming administrations to hit the ground running and turn around the country for the better, even as concerns are being expressed on the likely directions the newly elected leaders will go in tackling the myriads of challenges plaguing the nation.
I believe with his hindsight of experience as Lagos State Governor, he had used several technocrats and that assisted him in ensuring a successful government. I expect technocrats, I will expect also politicians. We have politicians that are well experienced. They were technocrats before, and that they went into politics. I don't think they would have lost that experience.
While some losers of the 2023 cycle of elections approach the various tribunals to challenge the results, the political class have been told not to allow their inordinate ambitions to undermine the peace and stability of the country through undemocratic means.
Knowing full well that a court of competent jurisdiction have ruled way back in 1993, ousting Chief Ernest Shonekan, that the ING is unknown to Nigerian constitution.
Security agencies have their sources of information, and the sources of information are mostly credible. We commentators, we will not just interfere and make silly comments when we do not have the necessary information. I believe they are up to the task, and since they have the information, I believe they are taking all necessary measures to ensure that such things do not occur.
Shapiro Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
14 members elect to the Kebbi State House of Assembly have been presented with certificates of return by the Independent National Electoral Commission in Birnin Kebbi. Election for 8 constituency seats in the state have been declared inconclusive. The resident electoral commissioner, Bello Mahmoud, who presented the certificates, said the commission is sorting out the election of 2 other assembly seats. Supplementary elections for governorship, 1 senatorial district, 2 federal constituency and 8 state assembly seats will hold in the state on April 15. Moving on to security, the Chief of Defense Staff has assured that the military will soon celebrate the final victory against Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists in the northeast region. The defense chief gave the assurance during an operational visit to the Mai Malari Theater commander of Operation Hatin Kai. General Lucky Rabo said the military is strategizing on the final phase of its offensive operations to completely annihilate the terrorists. He applauded the troops for the recent successes recorded in the war theater and charged them to maintain the tempo of the onslaught.
Commander-in-Chief is happy with you, and he has asked me to relate to you to keep up the standard and the momentum that you are displaying right here in the Northeast operation. I know that your commanders are putting final touches to operational plans, which they have also made known to you, which we believe should see the end of everything that has to do with the vestiges of Boko Haram ISWAP here in the Northeast. You must ensure that all the criminals, wherever they are hiding, you go to smoke them out from those foxes.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Why 76-year-old retiree insists on riding a bicycle? Stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Trust News Update. Here's a recap of our top stories. We told you that PDP National Working Committee reverses suspension of Fayose, Sherma, Anyim, others. We also heard that Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong says any support for interim government is against the principle of democracy, says advocates are daydreaming. Moving on to more stories, an early morning fire on Thursday razed down a section of the Olowu automobile spare parts market in Lagos State. The fire was reported to have started at about 2 a.m. and affected 13 shops, 4 warehouses and 1 restaurant. The spokesman of the National Emergency Management Agency in the Southwest, Ibrahim Farinloye, who confirmed the incident, said the cause of the fire is yet to be determined. The chairman of the Traders Association, Basi Bendu, commended the effort of the Lagos State Fire Service for responding on time. The chairman narrated that one of the apprentices who sleeps in the building noticed the fire, but before he could do anything about it, it had gotten out of control. Although no injuries or deaths were recorded in the incident, goods worth millions of naira were destroyed. It could be recalled that goods worth millions of naira were also destroyed in a fire accident that occurred on March 8 at Akere Spare Parts Market at Jegule in the Apapa area of Lagos. Similarly, on Tuesday morning, another fire outbreak at the Balogun Market, Lagos, was reported, which killed 1 person and injured 7 others. Climate change advocates have recommended tree planting as one of the simplest and most effective ways of tackling dangers of greenhouse gas emission to make the environment safe and friendly. The advocates gave the hint as they went on a national school planting program across all secondary schools in the country, starting from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Noel Sampson has more.
Since the 1800s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas, which produces heat-trapping gases. Felling of trees for firewood contribute to this problem, hence the importance of tree planting campaign.
You know, the effects of climate change have been very negative on especially sub-Saharan Africa. And so it's our goal at NICRA to take the initiative and reclaim our environment. And the easiest way to do this, as our ED has said, is to plant trees. So we are going to plant trees across schools nationwide, starting with the FCT.
Well, the importance of this event is basically to show the students of this school that when you plant a tree, you're actually saving a future. You can see all of them are out there and they are very happy. And about 6 trees have been planted today. What that means is that a future is assured. With these trees, we are fighting against climate change and we are sustaining the environment.
The climate change advocates call on younger ones to be part of the campaign to ensure a safe and conducive environment for all, as tree planting will bring about the reduction in the risks of oversaturation and flooding.
You hear about carbon emission and the rest. The impact of trees around in the environment will help to reduce carbon in the atmosphere. And you know, impact of carbon when it comes to ozone layer, the depletion of ozone layer, the release of carbon into the atmosphere basically eats into the ozone layer, and that's why we have direct radiation of the sun.
Simply enough, we have cases of high carbon emissions already from the urbanization. We have so many cars on the road. So without tree planting and trees to absorb most of the carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere, we have people inhaling more carbon dioxide. We start having environmental caused health problems like lung, asthma, and a lot of other airway diseases.
As from tomorrow, I've started telling my teachers, as from they will start watering this plant, I will not allow, they should not allow any plant to dry. Maybe we'll look for more plants to come and plant again. We are very happy with this tree planting.
They said planting more trees will contribute to global reforestation efforts, restoring lost forests, repairing damaged ecosystems, and mitigating climate changes. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
A Bauchi-based septuagenarian and entomologist, Dr. Sani Waziri, has told Trust TV why he chose the humble part of using a bicycle for his daily shuttles, despite having access to a better life. The 76-year-old, who resides at Ungwam Malam Goje within the Bauchi metropolis, attributes his decision partly to the leadership challenges in the country. Take a look.
Dr. Sani Waziri, a human rights fighter and agricultural scientist, agreed to maintain a simple life in his local neighborhood despite serving the country for over 3 decades and retiring as a director in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. He faulted the way and manner the country is being governed, explaining that unless Nigeria is changed for the better, things might get worse for Nigerians.
At that time, the civil service, they enjoy every benefits. But now, even the salary is not paid according to the schedule. Your emoluments is not being paid. That is pension and other things, like gratuity and so on, is not paid. So the retirees, the civil servant, they are under graduates.
According to Dr. Waziri, he has 4 wives and 12 children that can take care of him, but says the pitiful nature of the lives of average Nigerians caused by bad governance had made him decide to remain humble.
One country, if you are not a bourgeois, you are not playboy, they will think say you are poor. Even if today I say I don't want my gratuity, my everything, my children can feed me and clothe me. And they can buy me a car, either Mercedes, any car I want. One of my children will buy for me.
While noting that he spent over 10 years without a headache, regardless of his age, Dr. Waziri emphasized that riding bicycle is the secret of his good health.
Ride keke is simpler, it will give you health. If you continue riding keke, I think you will not be sick. Except Mura and so on. But really sick, never.
Waziri advises Nigerians to always render selfless services and focus on issues that will uplift Nigerians and Nigeria as a whole. Adami Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
On the foreign scene, the death toll from Cyclone Freddy in Malawi is slated to surpass 1,200 after authorities on Thursday said hundreds of missing people would be declared dead as hopes of finding survivors fade. The cyclone killed at least 76 people in Malawi, the epicenter of the disaster. The country's disaster management department said the chances of finding the 538 missing more than 2 weeks after the disaster have become painfully slim. Cyclone Freddy first struck southern Africa in the late February, hitting Madagascar and Mozambique, leaving Malawi unscathed. The storm killed 165 people in Mozambique and 17 in Madagascar, according to the United Nations. And finally, in sports, according to the transfer market, the Super Eagles of Nigeria are the most expensive national team in Africa. The 3-time African champions are also placed in the 13th position in the world. A number of Super Eagles stars play for clubs in Europe's lucrative leagues, making them one of the most valuable teams on the continent and the world. Napoli forward Victor Osimhen is the biggest player in the Super Eagles at the moment and is expected to command a huge transfer fee in case he decides to leave the Partenope this summer. The likes of Alex Iwobi, Samuel Chukwueze, Ademola Lookman, Joe Aribo, Terem Murphy, and Maduka Okoye also contributed to the huge value placed on the Super Eagles. Morocco, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Senegal complete the top 5 teams in Africa. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.